Hey everyone, it's Melinda with Tailored and Teal, and welcome back to another What Sold video. These are sales on Poshmark and eBay because I had no sales on Mercari from June 16th through June 30th of 2024. Before we jump into my very minimal sales, I just wanted to say that I did have my Poshmark Closet and Mercari Page or store on vacation mode for the last week of June. And then on eBay, I offered delayed shipping. So it's like time away, but people can still purchase from me if they'd like, up to 15 days. And thankfully, I did have one or two sales come in while I was gone that week. I was down in Pennsylvania dealing with my mom's estate. We had an estate sale for 2.5 days. We did pretty good, but there's still a lot of stuff that I have to get rid of. But we did our best in the time limit that we were given, and we did a family-run estate sale. I didn't hire a company or anything like that. So all things considered, I think that we did pretty good. I did capture some video about how things were set up, so I will be creating a short here on YouTube very soon and also a reel on Instagram so you can kind of see what my experience was like. It was the first time I had ever ran an estate sale or even ran like a garage or yard sale by myself. I mean, I had help from family, but like I planned it all, I advertised for it. So it was a very unique and interesting experience, but I kind of enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy the setting up of everything, but I did enjoy welcoming people into the house, answering questions, talking with people, talking about my mom and things like that. So that aspect I definitely enjoyed. So with that being said, here are my minimal sales. Again, I had none on Mercari. I also haven't had any on Curtsy in months. I think the last sale on Curtsy I had was maybe in March, but that's kind of a set it and forget it platform. I don't really do much with it. Everything automatically loads from my Poshmark closet once I list it or relist it onto Curtsy. So I'm basically just waiting for people to like and buy my stuff. So moving on to Poshmark, where I had two sales. The first one was a Christina black faux wrap V-neck modest swimsuit dress or swim dress. This I picked up at an estate sale a couple years ago. Unfortunately, the person was a smoker. So I soaked the swimsuit in OxyClean. I soaked it in vinegar. I soaked it in Dawn dish soap. Like I did a lot to it, let it hang out, but there was still a very small amount of smoke left. However, because it's been a few years since I did all of that stuff and it's just been hanging in a closet, it actually smelled pretty good and it didn't have a smoke odor. So all of that stuff and hanging it up for a couple of years seemed to help its cause. And it sold for $14 with no discounted shipping. And then the next and last sale on Poshmark was a free to me item. It was a vintage gold floral and scroll patterned hand mirror and hairbrush. It was a vanity dresser set. It belonged to my grandmother and it sold for $20 with no discounted shipping. So of my two Poshmark sales, I had $34 in sales, $6.95 in fees. I gave out no shipping discounts, so my total profit was $27.05, and my average sales price for both items that sold was $17. Moving on to eBay, where I had 12 sales. The first sale was a pair of shoes from a ThredUp rescue box. This was Carlos Santana Adeline Flower flat strappy thong sandals. These were a size 6.5. They weren't in the greatest condition. In fact, one of the flowers, like the glue was coming undone and it looked a little floppy. I did my best to fix it and it sold for $10, and that was an offer the customer sent to me. Next up, we have a Sonoma blue sleeveless popover lyocell blend blouse. This came out of my America's Thrift Supply micro bale of blouses, and it sold for $8.34. The next sale was very exciting, but also unexpected at the same time. It was a 10-carat yellow gold Balfour class ring from 1963. It was from Penns Valley High School in central Pennsylvania. This was actually a class ring from my mom's boyfriend. I'm not exactly sure when they dated or like what their relationship was, but obviously it was serious enough for him to give her the ring. Unfortunately, he has passed since then, actually quite a long time ago, and my mom just always kept the ring. She did think about giving it back to the family, but she just never got around to it. So I listed it on eBay. I know that a lot of sellers out there are looking for gold. I priced it as exactly where I thought it should be based off of comps and everything like that. It sold for $199.99 and it sold in 2 minutes. I wasn't even done cross-listing it to Poshmark before it had already sold and was paid for on eBay. The buyer must have had some type of an alert come up for it because it was honestly the fastest sale I think I've ever had on eBay. So off it went. I haven't received feedback yet, but I also haven't received a return request. So fingers crossed that they like it and that they can either resell it or get use out of it or whatever they're going to do. I am just very happy that it sold super fast. Next up is a new with tags, Inc. International Concepts Light Heather Gray V-neck ruffle tank top. This was a size extra large and it sold for $10. Next up is another free to me item. This was a vintage lot of 8 scarves. There was Glentex, Daniel Couture, and I said that they were retro floral geometric patterns, and some were silk and some were polyester blend. And they sold for $10, and I think that they sold within a couple days of me listing them. Next up is a pair of sandals that came out of a ThredUp rescue box. It was Universal Thread Esmeralda Black Crisscross Faux Leather Slide-On Sandals. They were a size 9, and they sold for $11.89. Next up is a very, very, very old item that I picked up in the thrift stores in 2019 when I first started reselling. I thought that these were super cute and that they would sell well. Clearly, they did not, but I'm happy to see them go. So it's a Lauren Conrad white lace overlay nude lined mid-rise shorts. These were a size 10 and they sold for $8.49. Next up is a pair of Old Navy Y2K boot cut low rise medium wash jeans. These were a size 8 short and they sold for $12.74. And I think that those also came out of a ThredUp rescue box of denim. Next up is a set of earrings. They were 3 new round cut prong set blue, green, and clear rhinestone stud earrings. Very blingy, very bright, and they sold for $7. Next up is another free to me item. These actually went hand in hand with the scarves that previously sold. These were a vintage lot of 10 handkerchiefs, or hankies as my grandmother called them. They were embroidered, they had hearts and floral and scalloped edges, and they sold for $17.99, and these were my grandmother's. Next up is another free to me sale. These were just random things of my mom's that I put together in a lot. So it was a lot of a Big Boys or LB's gift certificate book, a newsletter, a menu, and a kids activity book, and it sold for $6. And then the last sale on eBay was a bright yellow art glass tulip flower tea light candle holder. It was very well made, very colorful, and it sold for $8.50. So of my 12 eBay sales, I had $310.94 in sales. I made a shipping profit of $27.66. Fees were $59.81, giving me a profit of $278.79. And my average sales price for each item that sold was $25.91. But because of that higher dollar sale, my average sales price was probably more around $12 to $14. And now for my total numbers on eBay and Poshmark from June 16th through June 30th of 2024. I had a total of 14 sales. I had $344.94 in sales, $39.10 in fees. My cost of goods was pretty low because I had a lot of free to me items sell. That was $29.17, giving me a profit of $276.67. And my average cost of goods for each item that sold was $2.08. Well, that concludes this What Sold video on sales from June 16th through the 30th of 2024. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I hope that you are having a wonderful summer, and hopefully in the next What Sold video, I will have more sales to report. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.